911, what is your emergency?
There's someone in my house!
911, what is your emergency? They're everywhere. He bit her, and now oh God, she's getting up. She's getting up. What you just saw isn't a movie trailer. It's a simulation, a projection of the first 72 hours if a real-life zombie virus hit the United States. Forget what you've seen in movies. The reality would be faster, more chaotic, and far more terrifying. How would the most powerful nation on Earth crumble, and what would rise from its ashes? It wouldn't start with a dramatic, worldwide event. It would start small, quietly. Let's call our patient zero a dock worker in a busy port, maybe Long Beach, California. He's bitten by a rat, infected with a mutated cordyceps-like fungus from an improperly declared shipping container. He gets a fever, feels disoriented, and is sent home. Within 24 hours, he becomes aggressive, violent. He bites his family, then a paramedic. The virus is now loose. For the first critical hours, it's not a zombie outbreak. It's a localized public health crisis. The CDC is alerted to a new, aggressive form of rabies or encephalitis. But this isn't rabies. The incubation period is hours, not weeks. The transmission is 100% effective through fluidic contact. By the time the CDC's top brass in Atlanta even get the full report, half of Long Beach is either infected or in a state of total panic. The internet does the rest. The government's response would be textbook, but tragically slow. The Stafford Act is signed, FEMA is activated, and the National Guard is deployed to set up quarantine zones. But how do you quarantine something you don't understand? The problem is, for every person they contain, 10 have already slipped through. A businessman on a flight to Chicago, a truck driver heading to Dallas, a family driving to see relatives in Oregon. The virus spreads along the arteries of America, the interstate highway system. The military faces an impossible dilemma. The enemy looks like their own citizens. Rules of engagement are unclear. A soldier hesitates to shoot an unarmed, shambling old woman, and in that moment, his entire squad is lost. This happens thousands of times. Morale plummets. Within 2 weeks, the national power grid fails. Not from zombie attacks, but from a lack of living humans to run the power plants. Water treatment stops. Communications go dark. The federal government retreats to secure bunkers like Cheyenne Mountain. For the average American, the government is gone. America is no longer a nation. It's a 3,000-mile-wide collection of isolated, terrified survivors. 1 year later, the air is cleaner. The silence in once bustling cities is deafening, broken only by the wind and the moans of the undead. About 90% of the U.S. population is gone. The survivors are a different breed, hardened, practical, and deeply suspicious. Society has fractured into small, competing groups. The fortress dwellers. These survivors have fortified key locations. Think a Walmart supercenter in rural Texas, a high-security prison in Illinois, or even a wealthy community's gated neighborhood in Florida. They have resources, but are static targets. The nomads, moving in convoys of modified vehicles, they constantly travel the highways, scavenging for fuel and supplies. They are masters of the road, but have no permanent home. The rebuilders. In isolated, naturally defensible areas like the mountains of Colorado or the islands of Puget Sound, some communities are trying to do more than just survive. They are farming, purifying water, and attempting to build a new, smaller, more sustainable society. The zombies themselves have changed. The newly turned are still fast and aggressive, but the older ones, exposed to a year of sun, rain, and snow, are slower, more decayed, but no less deadly in a horde. The biggest threat is no longer a single zombie, but the massive, miles-wide herds that migrate across the Great Plains, drawn by sound and instinct. The United States of America, as a concept, is dead. But the American spirit, the will to survive and rebuild, lives on in scattered pockets of a new, wild frontier. There would be no single hero to save the day, no magic cure. The future would be fought for, inch by bloody inch, by ordinary people forced to do extraordinary things. The question is, in this new world, who would you become? The fortress dweller, the nomad, or the rebuilder? And what's the very first skill you'd wish you had when the lights went out? Let me know your answer in the comments below. I read every single one, and I'm genuinely curious about your survival strategy.